heart-centered women and soulful men. I love that, by the way. She includes both of us. And reclaiming their peace, their purpose, and personal power so they can finally feel free. Through her signature 4 Love philosophy and Soul Bloom method, she guides powerful souls who know there is no more to life that hasn't yet been found the key yet. Her work creates clients and allows them to release their roles, expectations, hidden patterns, and keep them stuck. And instead, live with clarity, courage, devotion to what matters. When you learn to trust your spirit and embody who you truly are, you don't just survive, you bloom. I like that.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Makeba, and I'm thrilled to be here. Very, very delighted. And the topic today is how to grow without forcing it. We've been talking all morning about all of these things that we need to do to better ourselves and trust in ourselves. But how do we do this without forcing it? Because real transformation doesn't rush, it roots. So, I am a new gardener. And when I say new, maybe like 5 years, not that new. I tried about 15 years ago and grew some things in my garden, and it was great. I grew some watermelons. They were little baby watermelons, and then I went on vacation, and when I came back, somebody ate them. And so I threw all of it aside, and I said, I'm never doing it again. But 4 years ago, I think it was about 4 years ago, I decided to try again. I had a new house, a cute little backyard, and I bought a blueberry plant. And so when I say I'm a new gardener, I want to share too that I kill things. Somebody earlier, I think, said they had brown thumbs. Yeah, mine were black and a little bit thorny. But I had a blueberry plant, and I did all the things that I thought I needed to do. I watered it, I put it in a sunny spot, I talked to it, and all the things, but it died. It died, and I was so sad. And so I didn't throw it all away like I did with my watermelons when somebody ate my watermelons. I tried again, and this time when I went to the plant store, I said, well, I told them what happened, and they told me that in order for a blueberry plant to grow, it needs a companion plant. It needs another blueberry plant that is a different variety so it can cross-pollinate and do the thing, because one can't do it on its own. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So I bought 2, and guess what? They grew. They bloomed. And I was so excited. And that was 2 years ago. So they bloomed twice. But then this year, I think I got 3 little blueberries coming, and I don't know what happened. And then there's my rose bush. Like I said, I'm new to gardening. I'm loving it. It's helping me get grounded, stay grounded. I got this beautiful rose bush. Put it in my backyard. I have a little backyard in a very rocky ground. So I put it in a container. And it grows, it blooms, it's cute. The blooms don't last that long, but they keep popping up, they keep coming back. They're very resilient. And what I realized is that the roots are touching the walls of the container. So the plant can't grow anymore. It's too tight. And not only is it too tight, it was too small to begin with. So I got the wrong size container. My plant's not growing. It's trying really, really hard, but the container just isn't right. So, yeah, I'm learning. And my background, I don't think we talked much about the background in the bio, but I've got 25 years of executive experience. I was a strategic planner in healthcare, higher education, in private philanthropy. I sat at board tables, I've led strategy, conferences, conversations, and all the things. But I will say that the biggest and clearest leadership lesson that I've learned in the past few years, I learned from a blueberry plant. And so the biggest lessons, as I said, that I learned from the blueberry is that they can't grow alone. They need a companion. And with the rose bush, the container was too small, so it stopped growing. Not because of the rose, but because of the roots. And so it kept coming back to me as the gardener that it's not the plant's fault. The plant didn't do it, you know? And, got to kind of take the onus for what actually happened, but it's never the plant's fault. It's never the seed's fault. The seed didn't do it. Okay? And so the work that I do centers on helping people and helping organizations to get to the root of the problem, see what's going on. We've talked a lot about burnout. 76% of workers experience burnout according to Gallup. And that's just the people who say it, that they have experienced it, or that have a name for it. Because there are a lot of people who don't know what it is that they're feeling or experiencing, like when we talked about imposter syndrome. There's stuff happening, but you just don't know that you're burnt out. And 3 out of 5 people or employees talk about how their health, their mental health, or their physical health has been damaged by these things. And we've heard that in this room today, right? That's a big deal. And what is our response, ourselves or our organizations? Is it another workshop? Is it, I'll give you Fridays off? We're going to try to give you things to make you better, enlighten you a little bit. But this is like giving more light to a blueberry plant when the blueberry plant needs a companion. Or giving more water to a rose that's stuck in a container that is too small when that's not what they need. They just need a little bit more space. So I just want us to sit with that for a minute and think about how that feels as a person. We're all kind of like a house plant. We need nourishment, we need water, we need a nice soil, we need some sunlight every now and then. We need a decent container. And we need somebody who cares about us to make sure that we thrive. And that somebody doesn't always need to be someone outside of ourselves. So we need to begin now, I think, to think about who is our gardener? Who's the gardener? Who's gardening? And when we think about where we started from, when we were all planted in our mother's wombs, we were perfect. We had everything that we needed. And then when we came to this earth, we were tended to by our parents, by society, by all of these things, and we wonder why we think the way we do, why we feel the way we do. Because just like with those plants, if you give it fertilizer and all these toxins and things, it may look beautiful on the outside. But if you eat that fruit, you get all the toxins. You see the truth, you feel the truth, you know the truth. So, are we being mindful about what we put into our bodies, what we put into our spirits? Are we recognizing what's been put into us by others, what's being fed into us by our employers? Are we thinking about how all of those things might be making us look so beautiful on the outside but not feel so good on the inside? It's just something to think about. It's not ever the plant. The plant might be tainted, but why? Where did that come from? The plant might be struggling, but why? How can we help it? Whose responsibility is that to help it? Just a question. And so one of the things that I realized about myself is that I was constantly feeling like I should be blooming. Like it was a constant, perpetual summer. If I'm not showing up and pretty, if I'm not visible, if I'm not doing something and actively, outwardly looking good, doing things, that something was wrong. But then when you think about nature and how nature works, a lot of people are realizing this now, right, and remembering. Nature is even in a cycle. There is a reason we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. It's like natural order. When we look at how the leaves fall in autumn and there are no leaves in the winter, we're not like, oh, it's terrible. We're like, ooh, that's pretty. Those leaves are beautiful. But there's a thing happening. Things are shedding. Things are falling away. So they can root deeper. So when spring comes, they'll be ready to bloom again and grow. And so real growth, in my mind, how I see it now, is that it's seasonal, even for us human beings. Or at least it should be. That's part of the cycle. And so there are a few seasons that we talk about. There's the planting season, where everything is really happening underground and nobody can see what's going on. Then there's rooting. That's the deep, quiet season. You put the seed in there and it's doing its thing. It might be dark at the top, nothing going on. I planted some cat grass not too long ago, because I got a bunch of cats. But we don't talk about that. I planted some cat grass. And every day I go and I'm like, nothing, right? Nothing. But it says that it takes like 7 weeks for something to happen, but still every day I'm like, what's happening? Then there's the shedding. Again, there's this letting go of what you've outgrown. That's the season. And resting. Looks like nothing, but preparing the ground. Now, how many of you in this room have a really hard time with the resting season? Woo. And a lot of that, again, has to do with what was poured into you your whole life. You've got to do this, you've got to achieve that, you've got to be busy. The question we ask people all the time is, what are you doing? And I personally am guilty of this. I have this one friend, every time I call him, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, resting. I'm like, lazy buzzard. What? Every single time he's resting. And my programming tells me that he's not doing anything. Meanwhile, his house is paid for, he works for himself, he's on his own schedule. He's not complaining, he's living his life. He just happens to be in a perpetual resting cycle, which is maybe not a bad thing, but still in my spirit a little bit, I'm like, he's doing something. I digress. I'm so sorry. Okay. But we're not meant to bloom all the time. That's the point. So I just want to share a quick story about my own blooming. And for me, it started, where I will start is just my spirit kind of leading me to go off on a trip with my cousin. I had not done a girls' trip in my marriage. No, everything was about my husband, my daughter, family time. I decided to go on a trip with my cousin, and I saw this lady on the beach leading a yoga class, and I was like, that looks so interesting. And so I think someone earlier talked about how women in our 40s and stuff start going to yoga, and I did, because I was like, this is awesome. And what I found most helpful or exciting about yoga is that it was really focused time to be introspective. You're trying to do the poses, you're trying to breathe, you're trying to listen, but you're really quiet and focused, and it's okay. At least the kind of yoga I was doing. I don't know, hot yoga is not my thing, and then the power yoga, that's not my thing either. But that was very enlightening for me. But then I started having this really bad back pain, right in the center of my back. Didn't realize what it was. I wasn't loving my job. I think that's one of the things that yoga, meditation, and things like that make happen, is that you kind of start seeing things start coming to the surface because you're still for a little bit. Wasn't loving my job, wasn't loving my marriage. I wasn't really loving my life. And so things seemed to be dark, hopeless. I saw a lot of people around me that seemed to be happy, like they knew what their purpose was. I was 40-something and still trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Meanwhile, I had a really good job, making really good money, and people outside were like, she's doing great. I was traveling, all the things, but still just wasn't feeling purposeful. So fast forward a little bit, I made a decision in the silence to divorce my husband, and it was like as soon as I did that, all of these things started opening up for me. It was like the universe was waiting for me to choose me. And so after I did that, I took a Reiki class. Have anybody heard of Reiki? Anybody took a Reiki class? Yes. So I took this Reiki class because I saw a TV show, and the show said that it could be an energy thing that was happening with my back. This pain. I said, well, let me see. I'm a lifelong learner, so I'm going to take all the classes. At the end of the yoga class, not the yoga class, the Reiki class, they do an attunement where they open you up spiritually. So I did that. It was interesting, very interesting. And very shortly after that, I started hearing from spirit guides and God and all of these things. And I was like, I am basically blowing up my life. I did a whole lot of things that people, my family were like, are you crazy? Did you bump your head? For real. It was like, did you bump your head? My boss was like, we need to get HR involved because you're different. Imposter syndrome was a big thing for me. For a long time, I was the only black woman in the room with all these top executives, and I was wondering how I got there. But I have a doctorate, I've got lots of experience, I'm really smart and I'm good. But I always doubted how I got there. Anyway, I was very quiet as well, so I started talking to my boss, and I told my boss that my spirit guides told me blah, 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 blah. He was like, so anyway, all right. From the outside, it looked like disruption, like loss and all of this stuff, but the truth is, I never felt more alive. I never felt more like myself. I started to really see what I was preparing for in a way that I had no idea. So when we talk about the darkness, when we talk about the rooting, when we talk about the resting and all the things that are happening below the surface, I understand now at a deeper level that I can't even imagine what God is doing for me. I can't even imagine why I might have had to have those experiences, but I do know now that in order for me, or that what has helped me the most in my job now as a transformational life coach is that I've lived life and I've had experiences. And a lot of people that come to me are working through those same types of experiences. And so I see, oh, that's why I was married for 18 years to somebody that I didn't really like. Because there are a lot of young women out there who feel like they need to get married to do these things in order to meet these expectations of society. So I have a little experience and credibility there. So I just want to take 2 seconds to think for you right now. Each one of you, where are you right now? Where are you? And so I'm not going to have you stand up, but I am going to have you put both feet on the ground, uncrossed. So you should just get grounded. Just get grounded. We're sitting down. We're sitting down. I know y'all have been standing up a lot, and I want you to know my knees don't like that. So we're going to sit down for just a second, and I want you to think. And if you feel comfortable, maybe put one hand on your heart. And maybe put the other hand on one of your knees. This helps you get your heart and your root together. And I want you to just breathe a little bit and think, where am I right now? Where am I? Does it look like winter? Does it look like chaos? Does it look like stillness? Are you in full bloom? wherever you are right now, just remember, it's okay. You belong here. You're not behind. What are you supposed to be learning from it? What are you supposed to be growing through? Not going through. What are you growing through? We're all blooming. All right, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and come on back. All right, so again, in summary, the seed is not the problem. The soil is not the problem necessarily. It could be something else in the ecosystem. It's all related. So is this a hard season I need to move through? Or is this a container too small for what I'm meant to become? So I want y'all to think about those things. Stop blaming yourself. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to notice what's going on. You are your own gardener. Are you tending to that garden properly? Are you asking the right questions? We're not expected to know all the things, but we do need to know the questions. So again, start with the soil, check the conditions, ask honest questions. Okay? And here is my book that I'm sharing. I have a couple of copies out there. But if you're ready to bloom, this is Bloom in Any Season, 52 Ways to Grow into Your Magical Self. I'd love to chat with any of you and all of you today at some point. But thank you so much for your time.